Ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome to this week's episode of Critically Casual. You saw the tweet.
I saw the tweet.
Yeah. I'm your host, Srekcuf5. Joining me, as always, is amazing Dorkydev. Hi, Dev. How are you?
Man, we made a mistake at some point in life where we let. I don't want to give Disney more power. You know this, right? Like
Yeah.
I've made that clear. But like, we made a mistake letting other people have the rights to Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh no. Uh.
So, I think if I had to guess the year we made a mistake, at least recently, 2016-ish, when they first decided to start designing for Venom. Like, this sounds like a great idea. Let's go with this hero, this villain who's not a villain, and at least turn him into not a villain, and then, let's just go from there and see how things work out. Yeah, it'll be a great time. I think it's lots of money.
Our not so sinister six.
uh, they're all good people, and they care for Spider-Man. Or they don't even know him at all.
Oh. Get there. Get there.
So yeah, all right. Let's get in here. Let's start talking about this week's movies. Which, Dev, do you remember what I called last week's show?
Uh, Vaguely.
It was wait, what universe? So this week
Yeah.
I've decided to call it wait, what universe? Because I'm so clever and original in all of my titles.
Less of a pause. I get it.
Yeah. So this week we're talking about Constantine. Then we're gonna start talking about Mobius. Any last words? Will, testament, things about death.
Mistakes were made.
Gentle way to put it. Okay. Well, let's get in here then. Let's start talking about our first movie, which is Constantine. Woo!
Which released on February 18th, 2005, with a budget of $100 million. It opened with a $29 million weekend, $75 million gross US, and $230 million worldwide. Barely double the budget, not quite triple. Not gonna lie, I feel like this movie came out too early.
I both agree and disagree. Like, I like this movie. I like what came out. It would have been better for sure if other people handled it, probably, or maybe being out later in time would be better. My only real concern, like, if I were to complain about one thing in this movie, it's how serious it takes itself with some of the ridiculous shit that it pulls off. Like,
Welcome to the dark side of DCEU.
yeah,
That is just normal.
like it's just so. It was funny to me. Just like he freaking punches somebody with brass knuckles, and he has a giant cross gun that shoots dragon fire. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, something.
Is this entirely comic book accurate? No. Does it have a fun time with this material though?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, would I watch this again? Probably.
I've definitely watched this a couple of times.
Like, shit. Because this is DC. Does this end up higher on the list? It ends up on a decent spot on the list, in my opinion, depending on where we put it. So, like, I don't know. It's kind of in a weird spot of being like, is it definitively good? No.
It's not the best movie out there. No, it's not thrown together the most elegantly, and it's kind of rushed in some parts and takes too long in others. Like, it's your average movie, but it has a bit of a charm to it.
And right, it's got a charm to it that I actually kind of enjoy. Um, like I know there's been talk like Keanu has said that he would come back for the role,
Hmm.
if offered to it. Like I will say, as someone who's a sucker for like the Constantine, where he has his thick fucking accents, um, I like that Constantine. Okay,
Hmm.
that will always be my favorite Constantine. But like, this is sufficient enough. This could fit in Zach's world, and actually be an upside to it. Okay.
Hmm. Kind of agree with that.
Like, this feels like it would be Zack Snyder's Constantine.
Uh,
Like in his universe's Constantine.
that
If
makes
that
more
makes
sense. Yeah.
like one of the good blips that would have happened in that like universe.
Hmm. I mean, especially because this movie, even though as obscure as it is, still feels fairly grounded. Like, Constantine is just a man. That's it. That's all. That There's nothing special about him. I mean, there might be
Nope.
something, but
He's got like he's able to see shit. Like that's it. Yeah, and I mean like this could be a fun Justice League Dark. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
will he ever like I don't know how else to put it. Like, it's entertaining. You've got uh Digimon Hasu. I've always fucked up his name. Hanasu. So the dude who was Korath in Guardians. The
Hmm.
Ooh. He's literally in fucking everything. Like, he's one of those people that you see is like, oh hey, there he is.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
And he's always a delight in movies, and he's great in this. And then the other Marvel connection today is also Tilda Swinton, who played the ancient one.
I really like Tilda Swinton in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, all right.
I like the idea of like Archangel Gabriel possessing a woman and becoming what
Not
she.
gonna lie, I watched a lot of Supernatural, so like this just felt like a Supernatural episode in some cases.
In
I'm not
some
gonna lie.
cases, yeah. I watched no Supernatural, so there you go.
The moment I saw Gabriel, I'm like, Gabriel's gotta do something, and yeah, I was 100% correct. I'm like, yeah, Supernatural's ruined the angels and demons bullshit for me at this point. So,
It's all predictable.
oh, you have an angel. Oh, you have a demon. All right, I know where we're going.
Woo! I mean, do you have any like
Yay!
side characters that you enjoyed? I
I mean,
mean, I would probably my two favorites, if I had to pick like one from each side, would be Father Hennessy, which I think that's funny. Alcohol. And Balthazar.
I just feel like Balthazar was underutilized.
100%.
So
But I liked what we got of him.
that's fair. I guess that's fair.
We could have gotten rid of Shia LaBeouf. Definitely didn't need Chaz in this movie.
What do you mean? His end scene is so important to everything that happens.
Absolutely. I mean, I would always love to be bitch slapped by a demon. Oh.
Yeah, I think I'll be honest. This is a like I actually had never watched this before.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, this is my first watch of this, and you know what? I was pleasantly surprised. So
Not perfect, but it's fun.
does the job.
So I mean, is that it? Is that all? Or a 10-minute review? Not even? Is that all we have for Constantine?
Do you have anything else?
I liked the devil. I liked hell, and I liked the design of how they like the
I can
transition and
agree
all
to
that
that.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do gotta say, I don't enjoy the demons.
Demon design is lacking.
Mm-hmm. Especially too, like even when they did the Balthazar, when you actually got to see his true form, Like that's I mean, it's better than what you'd get in other movies. Like, it's better than the Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny Satan, where he's just a red latex beast, essentially. But,
How dare you say that? Everyone loves the red latex beast.
but like in this one, they actually have skin and stuff, which I guess kind of makes sense. But
Yeah,
that's
it's their souls have completely destroyed their bodies and shit, so they're deteriorating and shit.
into have souls.
They were souls.
uh,
God damn it. The Elden Rings. Anyways. Yeah, honestly, I think like having like let's be real, we've watched 21 other DC movies on this podcast.
mhm.
I think this one's serviceable and decent and enjoyable.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. Serviceable, decent.
I don't think it's quite top 10, but I think it's close.
I go to the pairings list or to pairings list DC list. Let's see.
I don't think it beats Batman 89. Do we want to do the list? I'm going to read it off real quick.
Sure, why not?
All right.
Do we want to
Ladies
go
and gentlemen.
first?
We could do either or. Which one do you want to do first? We could spice it up.
Fine.
We can spice it. Which one do you want to do first, boss?
Spice. Let's do our kernels like we normally do.
Okay. All right.
We'll keep it. We'll do what we always do. Don't need to break the social norms here. There we go. There we go. Sorry, my camera was in the wrong spot. Better. So, Dev, here's your popcorn kernels. I'm giving
it just. It's a good C, a good 7.
Good
all
7.
Right? Good 7.
Okay. I was gonna do a 6.5.
I knew that. I've already predicted that, and I filled it in already. Don't worry. I literally.
You understand me so well.
I do sometimes. Like, I hate and love that I can do that for a lot of movies and be like, if I'm doing about a 7, I think he might just be at a 6.5.
This is a time.
Okay, so the list, the DC list, and then we'll do. By the way, when we do Morbius does end up on the MCU list. So,
Does it?
yes,
Does it?
it does. It is on the list, Steven.
Uh-huh. Does it? It's technically a different universe.
Steven, we'll talk about it, but it has to. You understand with what happens in that movie. It has to be on the list.
I understand.
Steven.
Getting that, but still.
I don't want it on the list. It's just, it is MCU. By default. It is canon. And I hate it. Anyways, we'll get into that. The DC movies list, because we decided to abandon the DC EU, whatever the fuck it's called now. Because let's be real, it was a really shitty list without anything else enjoyable on it. Like the Batman from 3 weeks ago. Like this list was sad and pathetic and didn't have anything going for it before that. Like no one liked it other than the Suicide Squad movie. I'm joking, there are good movies on the list, obviously, but like they were few and far between. So we added every other DC movie we've ever reviewed to the list, making it the DC movies list, which means Constantine's got to be on there. He's a DC character.
That's a lot of exposition.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. Because we edited it recently, so I felt like exposition real quick as a quick recap. Anyways, and why we don't do a DCEU and why we do an MCU.
Even though there's movies that aren't in the MCU.
Yeah, okay, but they are canonical to the MCU. I've explained why they're on the list. Anyways, starting from number 21 and working our way up. Number 21, Catwoman. Number 20, Suicide Squad. Number 19, Justice League. Theatrical cut. Number 18, Batman v Superman, The Dawn of Justice. Number 17, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. Ultimate Cut. Number 16, Wonder Woman, 1984. Number 15, Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Number 14, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Number 12 is a tie between Superman and Man of Steel. Number 11, Joker. Number 10, Batman, 89. Number 9, Aquaman. Number 8, Wonder Woman. Number 7, Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Number 6, Batman Begins. Number 5, Shazam. Number 4, The Dark Knight Rises. Number 3, The Dark Knight. Number 2, The Suicide Squad. And number 1, The Batman.
How are all the movies at the top of the list? Like, like I'm not even kidding. It's literally all of. This is the Batman movie, and it's the top movie. The Suicide. It's the top.
I mean, you're not wrong. The Aquaman comes out and it becomes number 1.
Oh Jesus. That's probably what happens too.
All right, so I'm feeling number 11, okay? Above Joker, below Batman 89. I know you might be indifferent towards that because I think you like the Joker more than I do, but I don't like the Joker movie that much. So, that's where I'm putting it. Where are you putting it? And then we debate.
You know, part of me wants to put it above Batman 89, but another part of me doesn't. I want to settle down. Come on.
I'll fully admit the nostalgia glasses also block it from passing it.
Casual nostalgia critic.
No. I am no nostalgia critic.
I'm going to go, yeah, let's just go with 11th. I think above Joker's fine, honestly.
Okay. Dope. Well, that was easy.
Easy peasy. No arguments here.
So, the list as it stands now, 22 movies long. Number 22, Catwoman. Number 21, Suicide Squad. Number 20, Justice League. Number 19, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. Number 18, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Ultimate Cut. Number 17, Wonder Woman, 1984. Number 16, Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Number 15. Oh, wait, hold on. I've got to actually edit that because now this is a different number here. So, number 15, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Tied for number 13 is Superman and Man of Steel. Number 12, Joker. Number 11, Constantine. Number 10, Batman. Number 9, Aquaman. Number 8, Wonder Woman. Number 7, Birds of Prey. And the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Number 6, Batman Begins. Number 5, Shazam. Number 4, The Dark Knight Rises. Number 3, The Dark Knight. Number 2, The Suicide Squad. And number 1, The Batman.
Not a bad list.
No, I mean, it's getting better as we add other... I hate saying it. As we add other DC movies, this list gets better. But as the Marvel Cinematic Universe adds other shit to it, it gets worse.
Well, I mean, some of these movies aren't their decision, you know. They're done by a whole other company. And
they really are. Not their decision. And it shows. Oh, we're here, aren't we?
I guess we can be here already. All right, let's get in there. Let's start talking about Morbius.
Morbius was released on April 1st, 2022. And it's a big old fucking April Fool's joke from Sony with an opening weekend of $39 million. It's grossed in US and Canada $43 million and worldwide $88 million. And I swear to God, honestly, people, don't go see this fucking trash ass movie. Okay? Like, this is an hour and 45 minutes and it feels too long, but also too short. How do you feel too short? When I'm sitting there being like, I'm bored out of my mind, do something. I'm blown away. I'm blown away with how fucking dumb this movie is sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? Why did we make this movie? Did you know Milo is a character that's made up for this movie? Like, I looked, I don't remember there being a Milo character in the comics. So I looked it up. He's original to the fucking movie. Like,
I mean, yeah, I had the same feeling because I was sitting here. I was like, I don't remember there being another living vampire as an antagonist. I didn't think that there was always a same versus same battle in every single comic book
It's
series.
the only thing Sony can do with these characters. Symbiote v symbiote, vampire v vampire. God, Kraven the Hunter's gonna be Hunter versus Hunter.
Uh-huh.
Ah!
And then there's gonna be a line in there. It's like, and then this is when the hunter becomes the hunted. You know I'm right.
I hate that. That's probably gonna be a thing. I hate you for that. Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know why this is a movie. Like,
I mean, it's barely a movie.
Asked for this? Who wanted this?
It's literally like they decided to put 3 movies together into one, and they drop all of the conflicts from the previous portion of the film when they get to the next part. And they were more interested in putting in references to their movie instead of just building a movie. Because they have, like, Doctor Who references, they reference The Lost Boys, they reference The Matrix, they reference Nightmare on Elm Street. Like,
they reference the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
They reference Venom. Which, by the way, if you see the trailer, that joke is worse in the movie.
Yes.
Like, I hate saying it because I wasn't a fan of it in the trailer, but I'm like, man, you should have stuck with the trailer version. Because, dude, somehow you made it worse.
They made it worse.
How?
I'm just kidding. I'm your favorite neighborhood doctor, Michael Morbius. How's that better?
How did that? How was that better? And you somehow cut it, and then you added what? 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 Like, I have so many. So many questions. This movie also just like it moves so fast yet so slow.
No, yeah, because the beginning of the movie is literally, okay, we're here. Now after 5 minutes, we're suddenly 25 years in the past. And now after 2 minutes, we're back to present day. Past the thing that we saw at the beginning of the movie.
We're here at this thing. Oh, we're now this thing. Oh, we're now this thing. Oh, we're now this thing. We're now here reintroducing these characters in the present day. We're here. Boat. Things happen. Somehow Michael gets off the boat without being seen in the middle of the ocean.
Plot changes.
Plot changes. Yep. We're here. Event happens. Plot changes. We're here.
We need to
something happens. Plot changes.
No, I thought it was we're here. And movie.
No, we have that one last plot thing that kind of happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then
movie wraps it all. It sweeps it all under the rug and it's like, we're done.
and then the end of the movie happens, cementing this into the MCU in the arguably worst way possible.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I'm left with so many questions. Like, it doesn't make sense on any level.
Mm-mm.
Like, I am lost. There's
an interview, I'm pretty sure, that I've seen where the director for this movie discusses the post-credit scene. And he explains it in a way that I can talk about a little more in depth once we get into spoilers, but still, he explains it, but he doesn't at the same time.
Well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. In any way.
But apparently, according to him, it does.
But it doesn't. Like, how does he get the thing that he has at the end? Because, like, and also, like, why do we need 2 post credits for the same thing?
Great question.
Because that's what we did.
Well, they really wanted him in this movie, but couldn't fit him in naturally. So, 2 post-credit scenes.
it's just, dude, and also like I I hate I hate the vampire shit in this. Like, it's not fun. Like, dude, I was driving home and I thought about it and I went, you know what sucks?
Hmm.
I would rather watch Steven's choice of vampires on a plane again than this.
Damn. Vampires. That wasn't even the name of the movie, but still.
That's all I know about at this point.
Vampires on a plane.
Like, dude, I found no enjoyment in this. Like, I feel bad for so many people in this, except for Jared Leto, because you know he was all for everything happening in this,
He
and
went
probably
all
had
in.
choices in this.
He wanted to make a better name for himself as a. This is what he got.
But is he a hero? Like, dude, I don't get it. Like, why are we having like? Okay, let's be real, dude. Like, this is a character who is supposed to drain plasma, okay, in the comics, right? Like, he doesn't, because he's the living vampire, so he needs a different, he's kind of different than the normal vampires,
Yeah.
like your Blade,
Yeah.
the Daywalker and shit. So he drinks plasma through his hand. It's a weird thing, but he does it. I think eventually he kind of becomes more vampiric as time goes on, but whatever, you know, going off of what I remember from the animated show. And the dude hurts people occasionally.
He's just
Good people.
blood rage.
Like, good people. And, like, yeah, he's an anti-hero, sort of, but he's also supposed to be a villain at the start, and we're getting the same issue we got with Venom, but somehow worse. Like, dude, I'm not gonna lie. This is worse than Venom.
Yeah.
Like, definitively worse than Venom. And it's shocking. Because, like, at least Venom has the entertainment of Eddie and Venom kind of having that, like...
Their rom-comedy.
Yeah. This doesn't even have that. Like, everything is so just...
It's just Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's all it is.
But is it?
No.
But is it? That's the problem. I don't know if it is. Because, like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know who Michael Morbius is before this if I'm not a comic book person. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know anything about anyone in this movie. We are just told, hey, these people, they have a disease. What's the name of the disease?
No idea.
No fucking idea. How do we cure it? No fucking idea. Why does he need to use bat stuff? No fucking idea.
Why are we doing this? They technobabble the bat thing a little for like one line of dialogue.
Yeah, but like, did they?
Not really, but kinda.
There's a gland. Cool.
Yeah, they do this thing naturally, so I need it for my blood. What's wrong with your blood? I don't know, but I get dialysis 3 times a day.
Like, yeah, like I was gonna like my thing about it is like that whole thing about explaining like how it like can digest, like they digest blood and stuff. Like I'm like, okay, but how does it help your blood disease that I don't know anything about? Is it a DNA issue? Are you like, is it a DNA issue? Is it like a protein issue? Is it like a like immunal issue? Like, what is wrong with your blood? I don't know what's wrong with your blood. How does the bat shit help? How do bats help your blood? What the fuck?
How does he make fake blood that is the most life-saving thing in the world, but still a failure for his blood disease? That would have been a better movie, I think.
You know, Steven, I hadn't even thought about that. I haven't even thought about that. But you are 100% correct. Why does this universal blood transfer thing not work to replace his blood?
Like, another question that I had, even before we get too far into it, is his best friend, whose name is Lucian, but it's called Milo throughout the entire movie. He He's called
Because
Milo because the person in the bed before him many generations ago was Milo. And by generations, I mean like probably months, because apparently a lot of kids died in that bed. And the one who lived the longest, supposedly, was Michael Morbius. But he just named the person who sat in that bed next to him Milo because that was the first person whose name was Milo. So it kind of implies that whatever they have, they're going to die of pretty quickly, even with the treatment that they're getting. But then here they are 25 years later. I mean, sure, they're still dying, but, you know, whatever their blood disease is, at least better now. Even though the people who were dying in that bed next to him were still getting the same treatment as him, these two
will eventually die.
Yeah, these two still were. They made it. They did the thing.
Yup. I'm just, I just realized too, like, what happened to the girl?
No idea. Still in a coma. They just dropped that. She's medically knocked out, and then we never see her again. But hey, that lady doctor of his is pretty attractive and has the hots for him, right? Yeah.
They straight up fucking dropped the little girl.
I mean, they drop a lot in this movie. Like, his whole disease is a conflict, and then it's no longer a conflict because now it's a curse, and then the conflict becomes them fighting, and then it's not a conflict, and then it's a moral conflict, and then he does it's bad. And then, like, if we can even just ignore the plot stuff, and we could talk about just the design, the movie ideas himself. Like, I don't like the character design that much. Like, even the shifting, like, the vampire face, that was not good.
Weird.
Yeah. I don't like the cinematography in this movie because it was a really bad bullet time, basically. I felt like I was watching Zack Snyder's Morbius in some instances.
Accurate.
Yeah. I both do and I don't like the smoke effect that he has. Like, I like it because it's interesting, but I don't like it because it looks hard to follow. Like, the action scenes where even if he's just flying.
Why they did it. Like, he doesn't do that in the comics.
Because it looks cool. It sounds cool. It's him experiencing it in multiple sensations at once.
Oh my god, the fucking goddamn ear thing too.
Yeah,
like,
the weird ear muscle thing.
It's not, you can't just, like, I'm sorry, okay? Like, if he should have just permanently turned into vampire mode.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like,
but as long as he takes the blue blood and doesn't use his powers, even though he's always using his powers.
Because, like, if he doesn't, because I don't know how the body reverts. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Because he's the Hulk and he's not hungry.
Yeah, but he can do it on, like, dude, it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. We don't understand the rules of this.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, no.
How? With the Hulk, we understand that it's because he was irradiated with gamma radiation, and that, like, when he's angry, the power can come out. Okay, that makes sense. And then when he's either calmed down or, like, worn out, he reverts. Okay, I understand the rules of the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
How does Morbius transform? Well, when he's and then he can do it when he wants. Oh, and, like, he can do parts of it without doing all of it, and also, like, he does this, it keeps him from doing it. But also he can choose to still do it. What? What?
It makes sense. It's fine.
Dude, it's not a good movie. It's not good. It's not enjoyable. I will literally tell anyone, don't go see this. Just don't. Like, do not watch Morbius. It's bad. It's bad on so many levels. It's bad for comic book movies in general. This is what I think people think of when they have comic book fatigue. This is the movie I think of. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a pretty good representation of everything wrong with comic book movies. This one.
yeah, 100%. And I'm like, damn it. Like, this is that ammunition, okay, for those people. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Cause like it's not good. It's not good on so many levels. Like the plot is not coherent and stays good. The characters are boring. The action sucks. The fucking like the cinematography is really weird at times. And like if you can make out what's happening sometimes, then you can kind of see the shit that doesn't look that great. Like I don't know how else to put it.
Plus, the whole the resolution of the film is incredibly quick. Like you're wondering what's going to happen, and suddenly the movie's over. And it doesn't help that he's constantly getting more abilities that aren't. They're kind of alluded to, but not to the degree that we get to see them in when they're in use. Like this movie is just a lot of inconsistencies thrown together because Sony was like, we gotta throw some movies out there, and we gotta get the flashy trigger stuff going on, the stuff, the buzzworthy stuff, get people in.
Yeah, like this is just 100% they chose the wrong thing. Like I don't know what they decided to do. Like I don't know why Mobius. Like he's a fucking D-lister. Like okay, like I watched Cosmonauts review of this, like his quickie real quick, and he brought up something that like makes sense. In comics, how characters are usually introduced is through other people's comics. So like, hey, when you introduced Spider-Man, what comic did he show up in? Why, he showed up in a Fantastic Four comic first, and then he got his own run. You introduce it so the people who might be interested in seeing more of this character know where to start. The same things I could say for the movies as well. A lot of characters that like necessarily don't need an origin story can be introduced through other people's movies, and then get a movie after.
You mean like Black Panther?
It works. Yes, 100%. Prime example right there. Another good example is honestly like WandaVision, coming from the fact that we've seen Wanda in other stuff, or Falcon and Winter Soldier coming from obviously Captain America.
Yeah.
Loki, like, is a character we all enjoy, so like making a show off of Loki makes sense. Or even movies, they do this. Like we said, Black Panther did this, where we got introduced to Black Panther and Spider-Man in Civil War, and then went on to get introduced to them in their own movies without having to be like restart the story and do an origin per se. Mind you, we've talked about Ant-Man had his own.
Was that before Civil War?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ant-Man 1, because he's got to steal the suit first before he gets to do Civil War.
That's good.
But yeah, like characters can just kind of show up in these to test to see if people want to see more of them. I think that works perfectly. What doesn't work perfectly is taking a D-list character and then being like, hey,
like Guardians of the Galaxy.
See, but Guardians worked because they were D-listers. I'd say they were probably C-listers more than anything. I would put Morbius below a lot of people on the list because, like, I'm sorry.
Hey, Morbius, I got his comic, and
yes, but Morbius is not exactly someone people are seeking out most of the time, unless there's an important like Dark Avengers universe shit going on. Okay, like, hey, you know what? We're probably gonna see like the Dark Avengers because we have the Witch, the Mummy, the Vampire, and Werewolf by Night coming. Do you know who all the characters are?
The Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, he's the werewolf, obviously.
Yeah.
Who's the vampire?
The Morbius? Is it
Oh, no.
Dracula?
No. Who's the Marvel vampire?
Ooh.
Blade. Who's the witch?
Scarlet Witch?
Yes. Bam. Who's the mummy?
Moon Knight.
Yes. Hey, guess what? We have like our fucking cryptids, Dark Avenger ass motherfuckers. Literally, Marvel is setting up a Dark Universe before Dark Universe happened.
Basically, yeah.
Saw someone put that out there, and I was like, "You're right. You're 100% correct." They pulled it off where the others failed. And like, Blade is a much more interesting vampire than Morbius. Morbius is interesting when he's involved in other people's story. Like, Venom can be interesting in his own stories, sure. And sure, Morbius can have one-offs, but like, man, I don't think he's worth an hour and a half movie. I know this is an hour 45, but like, I'm just saying, like, I'd give him like an hour 20 tops.
Ooh,
and just
a
cut
TV
a lot of
movie.
fat.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I cut all the fat because this movie has a lot of fat, but also still feels short. Like, I think that is his biggest sin. Is that it? Like, when we got to the end of the movie, I'm like, this felt short.
But
I'm
also
bored out of my mind.
Yeah, there was one point in the movie where I was almost falling asleep. And that's part of the reason why I was sitting there thinking, like, wow, why is this movie so weirdly split apart at the end? Like, why does it feel like it's all wrapped up so quickly? It's like, it's not because I was passing out, because I was definitely awake through the whole movie. But it felt like I was falling asleep watching the movie.
100%.
It was
like, it's in this weird paradoxical spot where it doesn't make sense how it exists for how much time you've spent in the movie theater by the end. And I don't know why we would want a sequel to this.
Don't. We're probably not going to get a direct sequel to this movie. We're probably going to get an Avengers-style sequel once they do the other few Sinisters. They're going to do good in this city. With a completely different voice and everything. At least that's how it sounded to me.
I don't want it. I don't want where we're going, man. I hate this. Because this is I'm a fan of Schlop. You know this.
Yeah, the schlock and awe.
Uh-huh. I can watch sloppy movies. Like the best of them. We'll eat that shit up. This is the kind of like this is I don't know what to call this. This is
bad.
This is Death Note bad.
So is this another half a point movie? I mean, you don't seem to be as angry with this movie as you were with Death Note.
That's because I can't talk about everything until we get to spoilers.
That's true.
Trust me, the yelling is coming, Steven.
I've got my emotional support animal. I'm fine.
Because what they do at the end of this movie, on so many levels, confuses me. Because not just the end credits, but even the end of the movie, I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confused on so many levels. Mm-hmm. Like, how did she do the thing at the end? How? That's not explained. It just happens. Like, what? Also, how does he do the thing with the other things doing the thing?
Just happens.
Like, it just how?
And how
Doesn't make
does the other
sense.
guy not get it either? You know, like,
Also, why do they have like a force field power? Like, what is this? How? What is that supposed to be? Just let them hit each other. I can't see what's happening if every time they punch at each other, there's a fucking boom. Like, you're what?
he's Black Panther. It's fine.
I just why? Why? Why did they make this movie?
Money.
Uh,
Because Sony is dying and they want to not become Marvel Studios 2.0. But it's not working.
I just why is this Marvel? See, it hurts. It hurts a lot.
All because Sony wouldn't give up the rights to Spider-Man and all their Spider-Man characters. We had a chance, and Marvel just couldn't pull it off.
I mean, I don't want Disney to have all of it, to have everything. It's like they own way too much shit. But like, damn it. Because could you imagine like a Spider-Man movie where Morbius's origin happened in that? Spider-Man has to science through that and help a good doctor not become a monster. Mind you, this is fucking Spider-Man story all the time, but I digress.
I mean, yeah, like, thinking about it really here. Just out of all of the Spider-Man villains that we've gotten to see, we had first one who tests on himself and becomes the Green Goblin. The second Spider-Man villain who is running a test and happens to have an accident. We have the third who is fought by an alien, essentially.
Yep.
And also there's a scientific accident in that movie too.
Yeah, but he's not a scientist.
No,
he's not trying to save the good scientist.
No, but he's just in an accident. So.
Yep.
And then the next series we have a scientist who injects himself and becomes, a monster. So that's a parallel with that movie, And then the next movie is a guy who gets in an accident with science.
Yeah, and he's kind of a scientist.
Kinda, yeah.
He works at a lab, so yeah, that's 4.
And then the movie after that, we have like the villain who steals alien technology, so alien villain again. That's fine. The movie after that, we have a guy who's just really smart at technology.
Right.
And then we have,
I mean, he's kind of a scientist, but he's not the good doctor kind of scientist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not trying to save the guy who like has good in him. Like that guy's just a shithead.
Mm-hmm. And then the next movie we get the double those together.
Yep. So bam.
But it's just weird to me that so many of them have the same thing. Like Morbius is a guy who tests on himself and becomes this other thing. We have Reptile, who's a guy. We have Green Goblin. Like, how many other Spider-Man villains are like, I'm gonna test on myself and become a villain?
Kind of depends on what universe you're in. So, I mean, not wrong, 100%. As I was saying, I realized what was going on, but it's a good story. You know what I mean? Like and if it's told in different and unique ways, it's fun. Like, if you're telling the story of Peter Parker and Dr. Octavius, is not going to be the same as Peter Parker and Michael Morbius, because they're different. It's different fields of science. A and B, they're different characters who have different reactions to what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Doc goes full crazy. Michael Morbius is trying to fight a thing inside of him that is trying to feed on people. But he's still human on the inside, as he's changed.
Let's say there's also like the Spider-Man video game where Doc Ock was just trying to make limbs so he can stop worrying about his like degenerative muscle disease thing that he.
Yeah. and
Oh,
just slowly loses his mind from the thing.
needs a new microchip. It's fine.
It's just it just hurts knowing that there was so much potential with a Morbius character in like a Spider-Man movie. Because then you can have him show up in Blade.
Oh yeah.
And like that would be badass. Like one of my favorite episodes of the animated series of Spider-Man is we cut to a castle in the middle of like Transylvania, I think. And like Blade and Morbius and Black Cat are all fighting vampires together. And like all of a sudden Black Cat gets teleported to the battle world that all the other heroes are at, kind of thing, because Peter needs her help. And the other two are just still there fighting vampires, waiting for her to come back. It's such a brief moment, but I'm like, yes, that is cool. That is what you do with Morbius. Have him team up with Blade. Have him show up in other like dark Marvel-verse characters if you're going to produce him into something else, okay? Have him team up with Black Knight. Shit, have him partner with Moon Knight or something. Like,
but those are Marvel Studios, and this is Sony Studios.
yeah, I don't care at this point. Like, they just give it to Marvel Studios, okay? I'm sorry. Like, this movie's bad. Like, you've wasted a character that like doesn't have a lot of room to like when you start him out. You know, like you have to use him correctly, use him smartly, or else you're gonna waste him. And guess what you did? Guess what you did, Sony? You wasted Morbius, okay? And I'm not a huge Morbius fan. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not here saying this because, like, yeah, well, Morbius is one of my favorite characters from the comics. Like, come on. No, I'm saying this as someone who's just, like, who sees the potential of a character, okay? Like, and what we could have done. And it's just gone. Like, Venom is now gone. Like, Carnage is now gone. Like, what?
I mean, I'm thinking about it like this now, like because we know that they want to try to start teaming these people together at some point. Like that obviously is their plan that they have. But the question is, which Spider-Man are they going to go up against? Ultimately, and because it's not going to be Tom Holland Spider-Man. Based off of the post-credit scene, it's definitely not Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So, where's Sony gonna take their Spider-Man Spider-Verse? The ultimate question. Because at this point, yeah, in the Marvel side, yes, they have Moon Knight and Blade and Black Knight and all this other stuff, but I don't see those like Morbius and Venom. At least Venom, not this Venom, not the Tom Hardy Venom. I don't see them ever meeting up with Tom Holland. Like, especially because the tone just doesn't fit. Like, freaking Venom and everything that they are is fun, but it's not like the same fun that Tom Holland and his high school adventures are.
Yeah. It just, man, Sony's in a sad state. Like, the only thing they can really do that I'm like looking forward to is the like Into the Spider-Verse stuff.
And that's not coming out for a little while.
Yeah, well, we have until fucking what, October, right? Yeah. And like it's gonna be dope. And like they do a good job with that stuff. But like everything else they've done with Spider-Man related properties just continues to prove that at a lot of times they don't know what to do with it live action wise. They don't know who to put in control of that. Because like animation wise, they fucking nailed it with Into the Spider-Verse. It baffles me. And I wonder if because one of the maybe the reason they let it happen as perfect as they did is because they're like, it's an animation. We don't really have to oversight this. So like it's for kids. So like they were able to creatively do the movie themselves more. While the studio will look at the live action ones and probably like micromanage the shit out of this.
Yeah, I mean, animation is a notoriously ignored genre in movies, right?
An annoyingly ignored one. Because like, yeah, I don't know how to explain this outside of that. Like it feels like that Sony seems to think they know exactly what to do with these fucking movies for live action and fail all the time, but like I wonder if they're hands off with the animation one and that's why it did so well. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm not gonna lie.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, the same company that did Spider-Verse also did Mitchell's versus the Machines, and they were Oscar nominated this year as well. So, and that was a pretty fun movie.
It was a great movie. We had a blast with that.
So yeah, there's disappointment in the air.
Until we get to spoilers.
Are we ready for spoilers? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, we got 2 steps before then, so I'll give you your popcorns.
All right. So for me in this movie, I think it gets probably a 3.5.
Giving it a 0.5.
Okay. Another one.
Another one enters that realm, okay? So 2 would be the average there, right?
3.5. Yeah, 2.
Okay, cool. Average 2. On to the dreaded part.
The list, I feel like this should be the easiest part.
Oh, it's going to be a breeze because I think we both know where it's going.
Yeah, number 1.
But like, I'm gonna have to read it once without, and then from this point on, going forward, it's on this list, and it hurts. So the MCU critically casual reviewed list, starting from number 34, and working our way up. At number 34, we have Venom. At number 33, we got Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Number 32, we got Spider-Man 3. Number 31, we got Thor, Dark World. Number 30, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Number 29, Incredible Hulk. Number 28, Thor. Number 27, Iron Man 2. Number 26, Iron Man 3. Number 25, Spider-Man. Number 24, Spider-Man 2. Number 23, Avengers, Age of Ultron. Number 22, Black Widow. Number 21, Captain Marvel. Number 20, Eternals. Number 19, Amazing Spider-Man. Number 18, Captain America, the First Avenger. Number 17, Ant-Man. Number 16, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Number 15, The Avengers. Number 14, Iron Man. Number 13, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 12, Captain America Winter Soldier. Number 11, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Number 10, Doctor Strange. Number 9, Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 8, Black Panther. Number 7, Spider-Man Far From Home. Number 6, Thor Ragnarok. Number 5, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Number 4, Avengers Infinity War. Number 3, Captain America Civil War. Number 2, Spider-Man No Way Home. And number 1, Avengers Endgame. Morbius goes at 35.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we said last week, like, its only objective was it needed to beat at least one of the Venoms.
It didn't do it.
It didn't even do that, dude. Like, yeah, it's in the tier. It is lower than Venom, which I had like a this is a like that makes me sick.
Like, if Venom was the smell of a turd in the wind, then you've stepped on this turd with more. It's like between your toes.
Yeah, pretty much. So, starting from number 35 and working our way up.
Deep breath.
Number 35, Morbius. Number 34, Venom. Number 33, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Number 32, Spider-Man 3. Number 31, Thor, Dark World. Number 30, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Number 29, Incredible Hulk. Number 28, Thor. Number 27, Iron Man 2. Number 26, Iron Man 3. Number 25, Spider-Man. Number 24, Spider-Man 2. Number 23, Avengers Age of Ultron. Number 22, Black Widow. Number 21, Captain Marvel. Number 20, Eternals. Number 19, Amazing Spider-Man. Number 18, Captain America, the First Avenger. Number 17, Ant-Man. Number 16, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Number 15, The Avengers. Number 14, Iron Man. Number 13, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 12, Captain America, Winter Soldier. Number 11, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Number 10, Doctor Strange. Number 9, Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 8, Black Panther. Number 7, Spider-Man Far From Home. Number 6, Thor Ragnarok. Number 5, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Number 4, Avengers Infinity War. Number 3, Captain America Civil War. Number 2, Spider-Man No Way Home. And number 1, Avengers Endgame. I'm surprised how fast I can read that off.
The list. It's funny with how often we read these. You read through this list too. There's still stumbles. Like there's certain ones that catch you off every time.
Yeah, it's because I've also got to scroll as I'm going through it. So like as I'm scrolling, I have to regain where my eye has to be on there sometimes. So I accidentally read a little bit wrong because my eye catches to the wrong spots. Dude, doing the list next month, I really can't wait, and I hope that it is what I hope it is.
There's already enough garbage in. we polluted the ocean that is the MCU enough already.
But it's gonna be so fucking funny because like some of that list is real garbage.
Yeah. I just don't wanna. We've watched it all at least. That's good.
Yep. We may not have technically reviewed every movie on this list, but like we've watched all of them for the show. So this list started after Black Panther, but Black Panther was the first one we reviewed on the show. So like everything before Black Panther technically doesn't have a review for it.
Fine with that.
So all of Phase 1, all of Phase 2, and a good chunk of Phase 3.
I'm okay with never reviewing them on the show.
We can do like quickies at some point.
We'll sit down and we'll review all of them, all in one episode. I would die.
Be down.
I would die. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Rewatch the MCU and everything we have on this list, and then redo the list. See if we change it at all.
Oh, God, no. I'm Steve Carroll. God, please, no! I mean, it's all like there are so many times when we list these movies, and I always list them higher in the beginning than I do when I go back to them in retrospect. Like Black Panther.
Or there are some that you go back to and you're like, wow, you have come back and been like, I was wrong, you were right to me on multiple of these.
As
well.
Like, I mean, it all depends on the day that you catch me.
It really does. And it infuriates me, but it does make this list so fucking interesting. Because, like, that's why we had Shang-Chi and Thor Ragnarok tied for so long. Like, because you're like, I could watch either of those on any day because they're both really good movies. I'm like, I agree. Is why we had such a contention about me putting Civil War high. I was like, hey, Civil War is one of the best. It's arguably one of the best MCU movies ever made. And originally you being like, I don't really see it that way. Like from when I watched it in theaters, and then you rewatch it, you're like, I guess you're right.
I mean, hell, even late now, like with the Shang-Chi thing, I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, do I want to switch those back?
Do we want to just put them back in permanent deadlock?
No,
because I'm fine with ties. You know this.
Yeah. It's just with that right now. My big thing is how Shang-Chi, it starts out super promising, and it still just ends with a giant monster dragon fight, which is just weird. It feels kind of out of nowhere for this really cool movie about martial arts and family.
But it is the second best origin story Marvel has made.
It is, yeah. And then, like with Thor Ragnarok, it's just fun. It's good. I enjoy it.
It's a fucking hoot the entire time. Like me, I would honestly like if I change some stuff. Like I would say Winter Soldier goes higher, personally, because I think that is one of my favorite. Because it's an espionage movie. Like it's fucking dope. Um, I would say like honestly, maybe I fought for Amazing Spider-Man being too high on the list. Um, but I'm okay with that because like it is a good Spider-Man movie. Um, but also we look at the one below it being Eternals, and I also think about like maybe we could have put Eternals lower.
With Eternals, I go back and forth on because it's I
That is a
like
weird. That is a weird block, by the way. The Eternals, Captain Marvel, and Black Widow. Like it's
yeah
those are three movies that have so many like good things, but so many things that you're kind of like, why
yeah.
for Marvel? Like, uh and then below that, I think is pretty set in stone. Is everything below Black Widow?
I'm kind of
Um,
surprised that Age of Ultron is down here on 23rd sometimes. Like,
that is as low as it is.
yeah.
Well, I think it's just because like it's one of those. I could see why it would be higher on the list, but it's also one of those ones where it's just like it feels disjointed a lot of the time when you watch it.
Hmm.
For parts of it,
They kill
like
off
the
the
whole
character
Thor
that no
thing
one
in
cares
it.
about. But
Yeah,
everyone's
like Thor going off and doing his own thing during the movie. That like it's weird because he does it in Infinity War too, but it works in Infinity War. But like in Age of Ultron, it doesn't work because it feels like a weird side tangent. It doesn't feel like it because it's not relevant to the movie at the time. It's
yeah.
relevant to the next movie. And like if we're gonna do that in a Thor movie, where he's getting information for his current story arc. Because what he was doing wasn't really getting information for him at the time.
Yeah, with Age of Ultron, his story is super weird. He has a nightmare induced by Black Widow or by Scarlet Witch, and then he flies off into the distance, has a dream vision, flies back to save the day, essentially.
Yep.
Even though the answers he got had nothing to do with the vision that he
Which vision?
got. Both. We're so dumb sometimes.
Yeah. That was a good joke though, I feel.
I'd give it
no,
like a
this
5 out of 6. I don't know.
fair enough. Yeah, no, I think this was like the list makes sense for the most part, but like we've said, some like when you get past a certain echelon, it's like these movies could be interchanged with each other to a certain extent. Like anything in the top 10 can almost be shuffled around in the top 10 depending on what you want, like depending on where it is at that time. Um like I don't see anything before Thor below Thor Ragnarok going higher. You know what I mean? Like beating the top spot. But I can see Thor Ragnarok easily being a number 1. You know what I mean? Depending on the day of the week. Like I just want a fun romp with
Mhm.
North gods. Yeah, dude, that's dope. I want a two-part epic that will tear my heart out. Cool, got Infinity War and Endgame right in there. Um I want one of the best origin stories ever made. Cool. So I don't know No Way Home's there. You kid. Um yeah, like and like some of these other movies could move up and down depending on just what we want to watch at the time. And it's a fun thing to look at, in my opinion. And then like if the X-Men end up on the list, then like I think that will just add to the wow, this like it's crazy to think superhero movies have done this too. Cause like
And we've already got that list in freaking DC. Like, oh, it's crazy that we have Catwoman and the Batman all in the same series. They're not the same franchise.
no, they're not part of the same universe, but like if X-Men ends up in the same universe, like the same MCU, then you know, we have to live with that.
MCEU.
CMCU. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's like it still bugs me. Part of that conversation that we have, I know that we've come to an understanding, but like, oh, it irks me sometimes.
That you're right, but I'm right at the same time.
Yes.
That it's internal gridlock that technically there will never be a winner to.
I mean, I feel like you're the winner and I'm the loser, but in this argument, because you get it your way no matter what.
Hey, listen, I think it just makes the list more fun. I'm doing it for the fun. Anyways, I read off the list, you don't. If anything, I make my job harder by adding that on there.
You're not wrong.
If anything, I am creating more enjoyment for you from my suffering.
I'm suffering alongside you, just on the inside.
Silently.
Okay, are we ready to move on to spoilers?
Let's get ready to spoiler. I don't even want to fucking set it up.
We're here. Spoilers. We're in it. Anyone who doesn't want to have this movie spoiled for them more than it already has been, get out of here. Could have warned us first. Ugh. I'm awake now.
I just
needed a moment.
Yeah.
All right, so I feel like we got to do this the old way we used to do this. Start from the beginning and work our way towards the end. That work for you?
That's fine. Let's do it.
Okay. Because the movie starts almost instantly with him doing his bat catching trap, which already that threw me off because I feel like we should have seen some research into like him understanding the bats and trying to do the thing. But you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. He's just
also
gone.
How does it catch bats?
No idea. It just does, even though we see them fly through and around, and you know, he's still caught all these specific Costa Rican, I think, bats. Yeah, there's that. And as the bats are swarming him, we immediately jump back 25 years in time where we meet Lucian and the doctor.
Milo.
Yes, Dr. Milo. I'm just kidding. Lucian / Milo and the doctor and young Mobius. And we get 2 minutes of, hey, he could fix something that it took people 16 years to design. Even though it's not that hard to fix something once it's already made. But he's brilliant.
You're not wrong.
But he's brilliant. He figured it out. So he's being sent off to medical school. Or a school in New York for gifted youngsters. X-Men, right?
That was an X-Men reference, yes.
Cool. Sony's basically Marvel at this point. It's fine.
Why did they let them make an X-Men reference in this movie?
Because they didn't actually say X-Men. It's fine. It's fine. That just means in the next X-Men movie, we're going to see Colossus, Deadpool, and Mobius all right next to each other.
Oh, Mobius is technically a mutant. Oh!
Technically.
It gets worse! How does it get worse?
But he wasn't a mutant when he went to the school. I mean, unless you count the blood disease as a mutation.
Even he's a mutant!
So is Green Goblin.
Oh, no! They can set other stuff up, like turning Jubilee into a vampire! No!
You just went spiraling down a staircase I didn't even know was there.
Yeah, Jubilee becomes a vampire in the comics after she has a kid.
Okay, and we're only 5 minutes into the movie.
I hate it. I didn't think of the context. Like, I knew it was an X-Men reference, but I didn't think of the implication. What for
If I know. Especially because the X-Men, if they're old X-Men, they're all Fox X-Men. So how is Sony gonna have Fox characters? Hmm.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it. Is Venom in this universe? Is Venom gonna beat the X-Men?
I think Venom is actually in the same universe as Morbius. Yeah. But which X-Men are they? I feel like like there's definitely going to be a Quicksilver. That way we can have 3 different versions of Quicksilver.
This has broken me.
I was about to say we haven't even gotten very far yet.
The implications, though. No.
So he goes to school for 25 years, and the next time we see him is not for 25 years still, but still 25 years later. He's back to time. He's already captured the bats, and he's being awarded a medical prize or a Nobel Peace Prize or something. And he turns it down because he thought his thing was a failure. Which I guess, sure, that's fine. But they don't show us that, which I think would have been fun and funny. But then they jump immediately to the hospital scene with the girl. And like, hey, I insulted the entire medical board and all of their facilities and their whole ceremonies by turning down the award. And then he starts testing. And his medical doctor assistant friend finds out about his testing. I'm assuming she's like his supervisor, but not at the same time.
Dude, it's never explained what their work relationship is.
Yeah, but they're both attractive, so obviously they have to fall in love. But not before putting a girl in a coma and ignoring her for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. We see her once later. She's still in coma.
But hey, Morbius is fine.
He's supposed to be the good doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He just, by the end of this, gives up on finding a cure. Like, I thought maybe, like, the movie would be him, like, trying to figure out how to cure the thing, not himself. But no, he becomes a selfish asshole. And just worries about himself after.
But if he cures himself, then he could save the world and then maybe get back to saving the. I don't know. But no, yeah, you get it. So yeah, okay. The girl does her thing. They find out that the serum is stable, and because they tried it in the machine says it's stable. They try it in a mouse. The mouse looks like it dies, but then it's fine. So they're like, we can do this, and then they go and get funding, but not. No. They go and tell Milo for some reason about it. Even though he doesn't fund them or he doesn't do anything with them, he just goes and, hey, I may have found the cure. And then they go on the boat. Science experiment happens. They find out that it actually will work on humans, so that's good. Imagine if they went on that boat and then found out that it wasn't going to work, and it's like, oh, well, that was a big waste of money, and this is all illegal research anyways.
Couldn't they have just done that part before going out on the boat?
But they had to be in international waters to try the testing, I guess, or something. I don't know.
But they just tested it in blood.
Yeah. It's illegal. I don't know. But the test works.
The human trials are the illegal part, not the human blood part.
Mm-hmm. And the first person they trial it on is Michael Morbius himself.
Oh, fuck. And then he becomes this ugly ass fucking vampire.
Yeah.
With no nose.
Yeah, he's no nose. He's got long claws and many fangs and red eyes. And...
He looks like
he goes on a murder killing spree, but at the same time also still really cares about the lady doctor, so he doesn't do anything to her.
He looks like Voldemort during his hippie stage.
No, he still has a little too much nose for that.
See, he hadn't lost it all yet.
Not enough cocaine or heroin or whatever he snorts.
You don't snort heroin, dumbass.
I don't know drugs. Straight edge life here, you know? Never done a drug in my life.
Yeah, 100%. I believe you.
Okay, so sign testing. She survives being knocked out.
Okay. This is where my questions come in, okay? One, how does he get out of this? Because next time we see the boat after he hails the Mayday, it's in the middle of the ocean.
He vampire swims.
What the fuck does that mean? How does he get out of this?
He's a real good swimmer.
No.
Answer, I don't know.
Listen, he's never swum in his life.
It's fine. He's a real good.
As far as we know, he's never swam in his life.
I know, because he doesn't have the legs to be able to do it. But now that he's a vampire and doesn't need his canes,
he just knows how.
Yeah, all we know is it takes him less than 6 hours to get from the middle of the ocean back to his lab, because yeah.
You're not wrong. Wait, all that shit happened in 6 hours.
Before he had to get his next serum. Or next blood, I guess. Shit.
I have more questions now. How did those boats get there so fast? They were in international waters. How far off the coast of New York is international waters? Hold up.
Prepare to be on a list if you're going to actually call that.
New York City.
Is it believable?
Oh, I think I found it.
Okay.
I found the U.S. Maritime Limits and Boundaries. Zoom in. Going to New York. I don't really a search bar on here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of having to remember where New York is on a map. It's a little bit harder than you would think.
I'm going to try how many miles off U.S. coast is international water. Territorial sea, as defined by the 1982 United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea, is a belt of coastal waters extends at most 12 nautical miles, aka 22 kilometers or 14 miles, from the baseline. So you're in international waters once you hit about 15 miles away from the coast.
Okay.
So I guess 15 miles isn't that far to travel on a boat. Oh, yeah. Here's another one that says 24 miles off the coast country.
Okay, the EMZ Maritime Borders Atlantic coast looks to be over 100 miles out if you want to be like on truly international waters.
Okay.
Like a few hundred.
Either way,
From New York, you have to go at least like 200 miles.
either way, he's able to get off a boat and swim back to his lab faster than researchers, like emergency services, can get to the boat, get everybody out and off to a hospital. And then while he's being hunted for, who shows up to his lab? Which one of the characters am I forgetting about? Was it Milo who actually shows up?
Milo, yeah, okay. I have way more questions about time in this movie suddenly.
Okay.
How many times did he run the test? How was he able to run the test so many times before the cops even showed up at the place? Like, the cops not think to check where she worked while she was in the hospital?
Apparently not.
I have so many questions!
Yeah, like we have no idea how long he was actually like experimenting with his powers either. Because we get the whole interesting voiceover, which is like, I've started doing this and I started doing that, and the bats see me as a friend. And it's like, how long has that been happening for while Michael Morbius is like the most wanted man in New York?
Okay, and that didn't even get me to the other question I had on the boat. How the fuck does Tyrese know about the origami?
Like, who likes to do the origami? He's a fan of Michael Morbius and all of his work, I guess. It would have been better if that was like Milo, you know? Like, if Milo somehow was the police recruit, to be like, hey, I know a guy who makes origami.
Because, like, he's just like, I know who this is.
Yeah, it's origami of a bat, and who do I know likes origami? And that Dr. Michael Morbius I've never talked to. That guy, yeah.
Like, he grabs that. I'm like, oh, is there going to be some, like, hey, Michael Morbius, it's me, Agent Strode. You saved my life back this day, back then when we met. And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, you gave me one of these origami things back in the day.
No, what happens is he's going to open up the bat, and it's going to be a letter from the mom of the child who's passed out, and she's going to be like, hey, I haven't heard from my daughter in weeks, and you're out on a boat. Can you tell me what's happening?
I'm just like, it doesn't make sense that he's like, of course, Michael Morbius was here. Me, Tyrese, and super FBI guy.
Yep.
I know what's going on.
Super
here.
cop.
I don't need to explain to you why I know this is Michael Morbius' origami. I just do.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I'm sorry, but like, you can't. I love Tyrese Gibson. Okay, he's lovable in most movies he's in. This is one of those times where, like, due to the fact of the movies he's been in before, my brain does not turn off that part of being like, this is Tyrese. Like, I'm sorry.
That guy
He's
went
played
to the
a lot
moon.
Yes, by being a dumbass.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm genuinely okay. Quick side tangent here. I can't wait for like Fast and Furious 10, where they actually have to like race Land Rovers on the moon.
one up, yeah, Mars.
Yeah, there we go. The first people on Mars are the family.
Family.
And they've
How
got
will you get back? We'll figure it out.
and they've got to race the Martians, and if they lose the race, then all of Earth is destroyed.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, I'd watch that.
I know you would.
Because it's Fast and Furious. See, I like Schlop. This is different. This is bad. like, dude, we're not even 20 minutes into this movie, and I have so many holes that I poked in 20 minutes from one scene. Because it breaks it. Like, if you think about it, suddenly all of time doesn't make sense in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
What is the passage? How long was she knocked out for? How unhealthily long was she knocked out for?
6 hours. But it feels like it could be days, maybe even weeks, but we never even know.
Because you want to know why it feels that way? Because he gets back to the mainland and then starts doing the experiment shit, and then she wakes up.
Mm-hmm. And then, how does she get out of the prison again, or out of the hospital? Like, no, she's being. Yeah, I'm fine.
Well, we don't see how she gets out of the hospital, Steven.
Yeah, she's just like.
She just gets out.
Yeah. Fine. She's out.
She's just released. Next time we see her after the hospital is when she's in the window. I'm not kidding.
Okay. Like, I mean, I literally just saw this movie 2 nights ago, and I'm already having a hard time remembering what happened.
I saw it yesterday. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't think of a scene where she shows up in between her talking to the detectives in the hospital and Matt Smith looking at her in the window.
I don't even remember Matt Smith looking at her in the window.
It's before she loses the cop on the bus.
Okay, that's right.
After him and Morbius fight for a moment, a little spat, and they break. Then Morbius flies away.
Yeah, and so heroic. He flies away. Why does he have different powers than Matt Smith? Why does Matt Smith have different powers?
How does Matt Smith make force fields?
That's a great question.
Doesn't make. He's a vampire.
When did Matt Smith inject himself with the serum? Was it when he was drinking from the bottle, or was it well before he got into the prison?
It was before.
Just because Morbius got so mad at Matt Smith for taking the serum, he breaks out of prison. And then he's like, I'm supposed to be the only one who has this. You can't have it. I gotta kill you.
You're not well, friend. Okay. Fuck you.
I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I just have to kill people now. It's fine. Oh. And then ultimately, like, all the middle stuff we can ignore. We can ignore the whole middle of the movie because I feel like they did. Like, I don't. Conversations happen.
People die.
Matt
Smith kills a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's framed on Morbius, so that's another plot that's happening, but then it's not important.
It's just dropped. Don't even worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
We
Just
don't
like
have
the girl.
any resolution to the FBI.
Uh-huh.
Just like Anna is dropped.
And then
just like Morbius' conflict of being the good doctor is dropped.
Just like the blood disease, it's completely gone, and he doesn't have to cure anybody else. And then we get into the fight stuff where, like,
he goes to see his dad die.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah.
then his girlfriend dead. But is she?
Oh.
He bites her, and then she becomes a vampire.
No, she bites him first. Drinks his blood off of her lips, off from his tongue, and then he bites her to get re-supercharged to fight, and then he gets his ass handed to him until he could suddenly control bats. And those bats heal him and make him stand up, and he throws them against Matt Smith. So those bats are literally just beating themselves against Matt Smith to pin him up against the wall. And Matt Smith doesn't have this ability, even though he has the exact same serum in him. And
but he has force fields, Steven.
Yeah, that's true.
How does he do the force field, Steven?
He screams. I don't know.
I don't get it, because it's just anytime they fight, there's just a boom. How?
That's the sound wave. That's why there was so much dust off of the echolocation. Like everything.
I hate how it looks so much.
Uh, but
Fucking Daredevil 2000 whatever had better fucking echolocation.
mhm. And the one thing that also bugs me in this movie too is Morbius makes 2 serums and he's like, "Yes, I'm going to kill my best friend since my childhood, and then I'm going to kill myself." And then he kills Milo
And just flies off.
and he flies
Says, "Fuck
off.
it.
Movie ends.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Movie ends. Bye."
Oh, his girlfriend comes back to life. Or is she alive? Is she a living vampire or is she an undead vampire? We'll never know. Because we'll never get a sequel to this movie. At least I really
God,
hope
I
not.
fucking hope not.
It's been an adventure.
Yeah, she fucking wakes up and she's alive.
Huh?
Like how? How the fuck is she alive? Like I don't get it. Like I know they show her eat, like drink the blood a little bit, like just a drop, just a drop.
She has a drop
just,
of blood.
just a drop, just a
she's
drop,
infected.
please. Give me a drop of your blood. And then we see her wake up. No explanation. She's not in the post credits either. And then we get to the fucking post credits. Where we see the cracks from All Way Home show up. This is my Joker origin story, by the way. Like, this movie is it. Like, I don't know what else to call it. It's like, why? Why did the cracks show up? All of a sudden, Adrian Toomes is in a jail cell here in this universe, who we don't have a confirmed Spider-Man yet, too. And he's got to get out of jail because they have no record of Adrian Toomes in this universe. And mid-credit scene ends. We get a little bit of credits. Mid-credit 2 happens. All of a sudden, we see Michael Mobius driving a car out to the middle of nowhere. He stops, gets out, and all of a sudden we see this bright light barreling towards him. And all of a sudden, it's the Vulture, Adrian Toomes, in the Vulture outfit, which raises so many fucking questions.
Mm-hmm.
How? How does he have the suit? From a different universe. How did he build it? The tech isn't in this universe. This is a different universe that isn't as advanced as the MCU because they don't have a fucking Tony Stark. They never had a fucking Howard Stark to create this shit. We don't have an Iron Man that we know of in this universe for him to mooch off the fucking shit from.
Especially too, because wasn't he the one who just was given the technology? He had the man behind the chair who was making it all for him. So there's no way that Adrian or whatever could be able to figure out how to make his own flight suit. Here's my guess. Don't get me wrong, because it's stupid. Like, there's literally an interview with the director, Daniel Espinosa, where he spoils the ending of the movie and the post-credit scenes before the movie was released. And he talks about the opening of the portal and whatnot. And he says that based off of the established rules from Spider-Man No Way Home, any character can go from between any of the other universes. So as long as they know of Spider-Man, they have the ability to travel between dimensions, according to him and according to Sony executives. Which makes no sense because Doctor Strange's spell also just made no sense to begin with. But, since it has no sense, they can do whatever the hell they want with it.
Well, it made sense in the sense that, like, it was to prevent. Actually, me and my coworker discussed this recently. The reason why it closes the gaps, okay, is because it stops everyone from that universe from remembering who Spider-Man is. Okay, so no longer do those villains know of Spider-Man in that universe, who it is, right? So they don't know who to attack unless they're not drawn there and this and that. So that closes the gates. Why it would send Adrian Toomes to a different universe doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, no.
At all. Like, it makes no sense. This is comic book bullshit. Okay? This is that bad comic book bullshit kind of thing where it's just like, because of this event, this happened. It's not good. That doesn't make it. Just because it's something that comic books have done doesn't make it good. That's a critique I have of comic books is when we just like have an event and it's like, oh, by the way, this happened from it. Like, sometimes it's okay to do that. Like during after Infinite Crisis, like that's when Jason Todd woke up from his grave. And like because the DC universe kind of reset, right? And like all of a sudden he woke up because like there was a lot of cosmic shit happening. But sometimes it's kind of bullshit when we do that, okay? And this is one of those bullshit moments where it's like, you just kind of end up there. Give me a reason. Explain it. How? What? Also, what is he going to do? We don't know of a Spider-Man on this world. He literally tells Mobius, I think Spider-Man's involved in some way, and I think you'd maybe want to help me with that.
But we don't know who their
We
Spider-Man
don't know who the Spider-Man is.
I think it's Garfield.
It's probably Garfield, but like, we don't know.
Yeah, we have no idea.
But guess what? In Garfield's world, guess what we saw in that fucking closet thing? I'm pretty sure we saw a set of vulture wings.
So yeah, I think in Garfield's world, there's a pair of vulture wings. So there's already a vulture out there who's been taken down at some point. But, Adrian Toomes somehow got that vulture outfit, maybe?
But it didn't look at this. How did he make it into the Stark version?
No, I don't think they're the same. Like, I don't think the Adrian Toomes is the same vulture or the original vulture. I don't think it's like a Star Trek Mirrorverse thing where one of the main characters is from the alternate universe to begin with.
100%. I think this is the original Adrian Toomes.
I don't.
I do, because it's the only way I can explain it.
Like it literally in the interview. Let's see. In an interview with Variety, Espinosa says of two terms, the events of No Way Home had the effect of transferring Venom and Vulture and maybe others back and forth between the MCU and the Venom universe.
So that is Adrian Toomes from the MCU.
Yes.
Why? Why do we need this? Why take a character who we were looking forward to seeing face Spider-Man again? Tom Holland Spider-Man. And just pluck him and go, you're going over here now so we can do our Sinister Six thing over here.
Yeah, you're not going to be in Marvel Sinister Six. No.
Our Sinister Six with 2 anti-heroes in it. It's so dumb. It's so dumb, man. Like...
They made their decision. They're gonna die in that grave. Oh god, I hit the wrong button.
Oh, it's not okay.
Everything's okay.
It's not. It's not okay.
Not okay.
I'm not fucking okay. Okay. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. This movie should not have happened on so many levels, and yet here we are.
So 0.5 out of 10 from you, and 3.5 out of 10 from me.
Yours is a more reasonable score, but I'm bitter. God, I hadn't even thought about how fucked up, like, trying to keep track of time in this movie was.
Because we know for it's I still think it's kind of funny because there's moments where Morbius even presses the button on his watch, restarts a 6 hour timer, and he's like, yeah, I only have 4 hours and 20 minutes, even though I still keep a 6 hour timer. Which I gotta love that. 4 hours and 20 minutes. Good number.
Yeah.
Hmm? It's always a 420.
Yep.
Could you imagine? Like, so I'm just speculating here because I now my mind's on this. Like, imagine what drugs are like in these worlds. Like, they've got superheroes and super smart people and like mutants and whatnot. So like, do they have super marijuana or super? I mean, I know they have drugs that turn people into superheroes, just like in Iron Man 3. So I'm imagining now like marijuana strains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, there's someone's gonna be like, "Yeah, I have this purple stuff. It's called Chitari blood."
Yeah.
This one's called the blip because you don't know what happened for like 5 minutes, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm good." Yeah, I'm done. I got nothing else to talk about. Dev's sad because there's more bad stuff.
It's just so bad.
It was a pretty bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure. We're done here. We're moving on to news and wrap up. Oop, I hit the wrong button. There we go. That's the right button. News and wrap up. So, there was a lot of interesting news this last week, but I'm pretty sure most of it was fake.
Yeah, I think the one that I sent you might have been fake.
I'm pretty sure the one you sent me was fake. Because it was released on April 1st.
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even notice that. Okay. God damn it, I wish that was real.
I mean, that'd be nice. But it was like, that's not what Disney's gonna do. There's no way that they're not gonna keep making remakes.
I wish.
Oh,
Time you wish upon.
I got no wish. Trying to quickly go through like IMDb news page. There's a bunch of news, but none of it seems interesting to us in our show. Night episode 2 came out.
It's a good episode.
Seen it yet?
You watched it first?
I have, yes.
Fucking dope. Yeah. Good ass show so far.
So far, so good. Yeah, I mean, I've only seen the one episode, but I enjoyed it. No complaints.
I think it's gonna be more on your side of things of like what you want from Marvel, which is the mystical side of stuff. So
He's being possessed by God, Egyptian gods. Oh, MCU, all gods are alien.
not always.
The MCU, gods are alien.
Not always.
He's being possessed. There's also the Black Panther's god is an Egyptian god. Did you know that? I didn't.
The Panther God?
Yep.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think they call it Bas, Baas, which is a god in Egyptian mythology.
That's a panther?
Yes.
Huh. Makes sense.
And then we're dealing with two gods, and so far, Emmett, even though Amit or whatever it is, even though that one isn't technically a god, more like a pet than a god. Oh well. I'm trying to see if any other news catches my attention, and the answer is no. Oh, I guess we should just talk about what we're doing next month or next week, not next month. What year is it? What universe is this?
I don't know.
Clearly not the MCU, but next week's going to be terrible, but I think Sonic's favorite week that we'll ever do ever.
Oh, right. Sonic's next week, isn't it?
Yes. Next week is the original Angry Birds movie. Yay. And Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
More lists.
Video game movie, yay!
Dope.
Oh, that reminds me. I need to put on action movies, no. Disney live action, no. I'll just put it at the end here. There's a comic book movie that I watched the other day. DC comic movie called Red. I think you'd enjoy watching. It's the way I described it would describe it is The Expendables meets campy James Bond.
Wait, Red?
Red.
The Netflix movie?
I don't think it's a Netflix movie.
Is it the one with Bruce Willis?
Yes.
Oh, I've watched that.
That's now on
It's
the list.
DC?
I believe it is.
Oh. Well, we didn't count V for Vendetta, which is technically DC on the list.
That's true. True.
I thought we were going to keep it to like comic-y characters.
No,
Makes
yeah.
sense.
We don't like. I literally just threw that on there because I thought it was a fun. Like it doesn't have
I'm
to
down to
be
watch
the
them at some
DC
point.
list. It doesn't have to be on the DC movie list. But like
Yeah,
it's
no, I'm
definitely
down to watch
gonna
it,
be
though,
on
so-
our movies that we should review at some point.
Okay, cool. Red and Red 2.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, looking forward to next week. You know, more than I was this week.
I'm excited to see Jim Carrey again.
That'll be fun.
But until then,
How do we say that at the same exact fucking moment?
on my side, I did it a little before you, but it's fine.
On my side, it was the exact same time.
I don't love internet latency. Okay, let's call this quits. I think we're done here. Are we done here? I think we're done here. This is
I'm
my
done
show.
here.
We're done here.
Cool.
Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, leave a review, all that fun stuff. Thank you for being here. You guys are awesome. Yeah. I guess we're done. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Nothing clever this time.
Gotta go fast.
Thank you.